Nope. Mm. This is stupid. This is so dumb. So dumb. There we go. I know I'm recording, by the way, live. Shit. Chris. Yeah, I was. So when I was on Twitch, I would just pull up the Twitch app, and then I could see the chat because that's how I get the chat here. But obviously, well, now I'm on YouTube, and so I was trying to look up. I could not find my stream because it's. I'm sure there's an easier way. So I was searching and stuff, and I couldn't find it. So yeah, it wasn't coming up in my feed, which is never a good sign. There has to be another way. The YouTube Studio app isn't doing it, I don't think. I'm missing something, so that's why I was. So I brought the chat up. I have it here. There we go. And then my friend starts at the same time you heard the text. He starts texting me about Warcraft changes. Of course, art stream. So damn it. Second. Technical difficulties. Working through them. Here we go. Professionals here. All right. Charlene Richard. She is on her way to sainthood, and she was died at the age of 12, New Orleans. One of my friends commissioned me to do this portrait, and so I shall do the portrait. 18 by 24. Birchwood panel. Should last forever. Not painting on weakling canvas. Oh. This stuff probably will disintegrate within like 20 years or something. I missed something, some detail. I didn't carry the one. Just like in math. Okay. Let's do this. First, we want to position the portrait. I'm just going in with black, red, and I put a little cobalt blue in just to help it to dry quicker, but it doesn't really, you don't really need to do that. It's not going to make much of a difference. Okay. No, good thing y'all can see this on stream. Y'all can see that mark because I can't because there's a reflection going there. So that does not bode well. There we go. A little bit lighter. Immediately made it worse. Whatever. Chin. Put the chin here. Xerxes, go ahead. Keep on explaining the changes, my boy. They removed trank immunity. So you can die through trank. That's there. I'm gonna bring this here. Chin's gonna drop here. That sucks. That sucks. You were dying through it anyway. The concept of immunity. Yeah, but it's the concept of immunity. You. It's just like I don't block, you die through trank. Those are the two norms in what we do. What else? It is. Right. This I'm going to bring over here. It's the top point of her head. I'm going through the points that are obvious. I'm just trying, like I said, trying to place this right now. So step back, try to imagine how it's going to look. Compositionally, you want it, right? Solid. But the mastery changes are good. It seems like you're going to have better sustainability, so you shouldn't get in that position as often. Because, dude, I tell you, druids are squishy. The reason why I couldn't get to them is they would, it's kind of like the mage. You're supposed to use like lining techniques and kiting and stuff, and so a good druid would do that, but a good mage would follow him. I'm not a good mage. Magical creature. I wish I was. I really do try. How I try. The good thing about, see, the other portrait I'm doing is I'm having a good time with it, but I'm having to morph it. I'm having to fix perspective in it. That's, you know, this I can just understand, and this is a good picture actually. So, what other changes, Xerxes boy? Go on. All right. It's a good size. Might be a little bit big. That's what she said. Put that in some. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. Time to re-roll Dragon. Dragons go down pretty easily, but there were a lot of changes that I have not read, and it makes me a little bit nervous, but Marksman Hunter got a lot of changes, and normally they buff them, and Marksman are what just tear me up. They do. They just tear me up. I hate it. It's so unfair. You saw what I posted though. I posted to QFX who came up against that like 1650 or 30 or 40, whatever it was. Fortunately, we are nowhere near that point though right now. Fortunately, we dropped rating significantly. We have not obtained any of the rewards for playing this season. None. None. Well, Xerx has. Xerx has. I haven't. Hunter was always the counter to Mage. Nothing is going to change that. Makes us better. It does make us better, I tell you. It is a challenge. Challenge and a half. It really is. I guess if I knew that they were actually doing stuff to reinvigorate PvP, if I knew that they valued PvP and were actually trying to make it better and were putting work in, I would feel better with how things are. I don't expect it to be balanced. For me, that's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm just frustrated with the content. That's it. It's a lack of listening to the players and all that stuff that they always do. That's what frustrates me. That's what frustrates me. Like the shh, 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 shh. Like mages tear up warriors just how the cookie crumbles. They actually do right now. Yeah, it is. It's easier to go up against a warrior. However, I mean, yeah, warriors have a lot of mobility though. I'm just saying. My opinion, it's not as one-sided, but no, it's not finished. I'm just working on two at once. Working out two at once, my dear anti-champion. Two at once. Two at once. Gotta keep going with this. Gotta keep doing it. Whoops. So heroic leap can be used twice, so you can throw a fear and leap back. Pretty nutty. There's also a DR to roots, and so oftentimes, especially if a warrior's playing it right, and you Ice Nova or Frost Nova or whatever, you root them enough. Eventually, they do become immune. And actually, Xerxes and I were messing around with that last night with a certain talent. But like a good warrior will use their gap closers after the mage tries to get away. They have their Spear of Bastion that pulls, that can trap the mage in there. They can use Pummel while they're doing like their Whirlwind, which is extremely OP. They can be immune to, CC. They have fears. They have stuns. They have kicks. All these things, like, for mage, we have to, like, if they're bursting, it's good to start getting CCs on them, right? They can spell reflect at the last second. Granted, that's not like they have utility to deal with it if they time it right, is my point. And a good warrior will just rip a mage apart. So it's not as one-sided, as especially in this right now because there's so many good players playing. Which, you know what, I like. I really do like that. I like everything being kind of a challenge. It is fun winning, but I think I've played enough where, I do want every class to be in a good spot, and they're all unique. Like the gameplay, that's why, I talk about it so much because I love it. I actually got to play some last night, so I feel a little bit more rested than I normally do, which is nice. It did. I talk about this stuff more than I play it, but it is very important at this point for me to do that type of stuff to get my head out of things, because most of the day I'm doing serious stuff and I just get tired of it after a while. If you play with the Pally, freedom is pretty fun until it gets stolen. There's a talent. I'm not sure if the Holy Paladin can get it. I think there's a talent still with the red where they can make it so that it's non-dispellable and non-stealable. But yeah, but here's the thing. So you can use that too, kind of as a defensive. And what I mean is, like, as a mage, when I see it come out and they're coming at me, I have to take the time to spell still it off. And so, and sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4 times to do it, and that's period spent that I'm not doing damage. Now, granted, I'm still at the advantage, especially if the paladin's far away. He gets freedom. I get a spell still off it, and then I can root him in place, and it really didn't do that much. And he's not doing as much damage, but paladins do work it from a range. So I mean, I love it. I love it. There's so many elements involved. So many elements. Just like in painting, just like in painting. I saw some classes now get mounted in combat. Oh yeah, Death Knights. We came up across one last night. I don't know if I don't think we won. We might have. Xerx, if you're still there, did we beat that Death Knight? And I think it was like an Evoker or something. I don't remember if we did. I think it was we beat an Unholy at one point, which was solid. Actually, that was Xerx. Xerx got on his mage last night, and I went on my paladin, and I healed him, and so we had a good time with that. But Palets are very good. I think they're in a very good place. Now, again, a lot of patch notes came out, so we'll see. We won, yeah. We probably did. We last night we had a good night, and it's because we shed so much rating before, so it's just how it is. We shed a lot of rating, and then kind of went back, which is good. This is going to drop just a little bit. I'm going to drop this. Wait, right? If this is... Wait a second. The reason why I'm having a hard time is the chin is not really established. Give me a second. My forehead's too wide. It's too low. All right, so I'm just going to drop everything down the chin area. I'll drop everything down some. Because I'm trying to... I could bring this up and bring this in, but that'll make the head smaller. So compositionally, so this is going to look weird, but I'm dropping the chin. And if this doesn't work, I'll change it. But this is why we keep it very basic and simple in the beginning. I don't know why. They weren't that good, though. Just not enough people playing to make the games fair. Yeah. There's like a gap. We rarely play somebody of our own skill level because we're idiots. We're at the bottom of the barrel, but sometimes we get people who might just be coming in and they don't stick around. Blood DKs are nutty now. I think it's even higher damage outside of that crazy Frost one-shot. Oh, Frost Death Knights? I don't know. Oh, do they... They do have solid bursts. I think they got a couple nerfs, but I think it was their survivability, maybe? I don't know. Drop this down just a little bit. That comes down some. And we're going to drop this down some as well. And then we're going to go to the ears. Ear. So one ear, and then that one is going to be... You want to establish the ears and the shoulders really as quickly as you can. That to there, so that nose is going to drop like I predicted it would. This drops still more. We got to align it to that. That's where it needs to be, I think. This comes over. This forehead's going to drop down. Bring it all the way across. Now it looks like Mongo. Good, great. Draws down just a little bit more. See, we just keep it in this basic stage. We don't panic. And we're done. Stop judging me. Don't judge. Might drop still, yeah. This is, oh, let me bring this down. I brought that down some. Frost DK has the shenanigans where he can one-shot the whole team if you let him, but outside of that, I think Blood DK is highest damage spec now. Blood is? I don't think you're right about that. How do you know this? That drops. Drop that. That's going to be there. This. Actually, I brought this down too far, so this comes up some just a little bit. Do this all at once. It's going to come in. There, and then this. Wait. Over, because it was played in AWC a month ago. But I'm sure they were probably, I bet you he was getting like probably power infused or something was going on. They had some system or setup where they just like combined things, but I don't think on average it is better. I mean, that I could look, I could be wrong, obviously. I'm not an expert with this. I don't think that you would have Blood Death Knight doing more damage. I mean, maybe I could see it's Blizzard. Could have happened. Bring this. This nose is still gonna. That's wrong. Fuck. Excuse me. Okay. Just a little bit like that. There, bring that up some, and then the mouth actually drops. And okay, I see. And I brought that up. I'm gonna bring that back down. Take the mouth out. And see the space one. It's gonna be lower down, somewhere around here. There we go. The casters just said Blood DK might be highest CPS. Spec personally, I have no clue. Gotcha. I don't know. I haven't come across any, to be honest with you. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and put the shoulders in and such. There. I like whatever she's wearing. It's quite nice for a painting. Let's do something like that. There's not really shoulders, but it's okay. See that, yeah. I think she's probably out somewhere here. Let's just do this. Just need to give a foundation. It really does help to put this in. It gives us a better perspective of what we're looking at. Always said, teachers were always saying, put the shoulders in, and it does. It helps. It really does help because it gives you another reference to compare to, even though it's subconscious. Let's play with the mind. Okay, wait. This piece comes here. So what I wanted to do was get this shadow shape, make it make sense. Blur that out. I'll redraw this. Just down there some. Lighten that just a little. But usually they're tanky and they have a ton, so they have good damage. Makes them pretty good. Yeah, it does. I mean, I guess the damage part. I know they have solid damage. And some time ago, I know this is 2 point. I see a lot of things that are wrong with this. And just back off. Got this. Yeah, but it's like one time, if you got close to them, they kept on death striking and stuff, like a melee, it would heal them to full every time. So they were almost unkillable if you were attacking them. So you had to, watch out for stuff like that. Caster, you stay away, but they grip you, and then they do their death strike, regenerate their health, and then you're back to square one. So we're working all around. That's the key, working all around. We're trying to understand the whole thing all at once. It might not look like it, but that's what I'm trying to do. That's what we're trying to, and this is going to come out some too. Okay, so this fills out just a little bit here, not too much. And then this might come up just a little bit. Something like that. No one going to focus blood DK when there's an arcane mage on the team. Yeah, but arcane mage is still pretty tanky. They're very solid, to be honest with you. They're not helpless. I was never really a fan of tank shenanigans. Not many people are. Yeah. Whenever there's like a video where they rank like Vinruki, or I think even when Zaryu was still making the content, they would never consider tank, so just kind of put them in tank spot. They wouldn't say if it's good for DPS or not. They were strong advocates that they shouldn't be allowed actually to be in arena. Which I mean, I personally don't care, but because I'm so good that I can beat anybody, pretty much. I think I've established that. Okay, this, and then this comes in. This is coming out too far, so I need to bring the face in some. There's a lot I need to do with this. There's a lot that needs to happen, obviously. So normally I spend maybe a day or two on this. Sessions like anti-champion. So what's the story with Charlene or Shard? I don't know the main story. I knew you'd ask, but she is being considered for, I think, either being a blessed, you become a blessed and then become a saint. But she has a lot of miracles attributed to her. She died at the age of 12, but she's an American. I don't know if she's blessed or not. Like I said, I don't quite know what she's at right now. But she's on her way to sainthood. But yeah, she died young. All right, so just let me step back. Looking at this composition, I know y'all can't see this. That face is a good size, I think, for this. I think it's a good size for what I'm trying to do. So yeah, but if you look her up, there's everything. It says everything on Wikipedia, essentially. But yeah, my friend actually, who is one of the guys I smoke cigars with, commissioned this. He and I actually went on a trip down to New Orleans, like a year ago or something. We went because my friend did a book. In fact, I did the cover for it, and I streamed that. I think I might have streamed it on Twitch. I was on Twitch, but it was a cityscape at night. So, the only thing entertaining about all this nerd talk is your confidence that you are a powerful nerd. I know. Look, I'm aware of this, Chris. I really just need an escape. And I think talking about it while I paint kind of helps me to paint, oddly enough. It's like in class, and I still do this, if ever I have to sit through a class. Like I remember I took a boating course, which my dad, this was back about 20 years ago. He wanted me to take it with him. I didn't learn anything because I don't learn well in a classroom setting. I sit there and my mind goes, and I put more effort than anybody else in there, I swear. But I'm not a good fit for a classroom. And, oh, especially now, man, I would be trolling so hard. But I would always sketch and draw, and that would actually help me pay attention. So I guess now when I'm sketching and drawing, painting, I'm talking about these games with, and QFX keeps on bringing this stuff up, but it's stuff that, like, you know, instead of just sitting there, like, at the end of the day and just, like, vegging out and just, like, mindlessly watching the TV, I like doing things that activate my brain, and this is one of them. Yeah, so it helps me to focus, but it's funny because it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like I'm somebody who plays like 24/7. That is not true. In fact, recently I have been trying to play more because I'm like, mentally you need this. You're about to crack. So what happens is it comes around 8:30 in the evening, and after I'm done like putting my dad to bed and doing all this stuff, I'm like, all right, let's do so. And then I start winding down, and then I'm on the couch. I'm like, and half the time I don't play, and that's not good. Last night I got to play, so I feel good. Isn't Death Knight also a hard counter for Mage? Back to the conversation. Yes, Death Knight's a hard counter for casters. I'm going to try to be more confident and act like this is totally normal. Yeah, you know, casters have a hard time against Death Knights. Death Knights really have, you know, look, they have anti-magic shell, anti-magic zone. Anti-magic shell is proccing when they do some shit, you know? It's what they do. So essentially they have, I would say, a 35-40% uptime of immunity with magic, which I'm a mage. I am magical. Okay, that's what I do. I cast frost bolts, ice lances. I know my rotations. I took the frostbomb talent. See, I can do it. I can get nerdier. You didn't think I could, but I can, because I've lost it. There we go. All right. Every once in a while, I'll try to go and narrate what I'm doing to offset. But at some point, you just give up. Feral used to be able to shift out of any slow. That shit was OP. Don't know if they still can. Yes, they can, and it is OP, and I hate them for it. And screw Zerks, because that's what he plays. Well, Feral, he plays Boomkins, but shifting will get them out of roots and snares and all that type of stuff. They still have to do the action, and some of them don't know they can, so you take advantage of that. I'm magical. Yes. Nova Shift, Nova Shift, no, yeah. And then they're immune to it. There's the DR on it, right? So, I mean, they have their way around it. So we're slowly carving our way now, offsetting the nerdiness by really talking about nerdy stuff, which is art. We're just slowly sculpting. That's a word that you need to use if you're an artist. You have to use legit words like sculpting and earthy or expressing yourself in these things. That's how we have to do it here. Otherwise, you're not a true artist. I think this is actually the grind that's dark there. Yeah, I could go into the actual color too in a second. TBH, to be honest with you. TBH, why? You're useless with a capital W. Wait, what was it? No, you're useless with a capital Y. Useless with a capital Y. Have y'all seen Slammin' Salmon? You are useless with the capital. The ear comes up some. Right there. Ah, yes. Shirimiya, what's up? The I noticed that the Call of Duty is in fact on sale through January 6th. So I'm considering. But the only reason why I don't get it is because I don't know how much I'll be playing. I have so many other obligations as a rank 1 warrior mage. I saw that come up on Reddit. What is Slamming Salmon? Um, it's a really funny show. That's actually it's a movie that's has like all the people from Super Troopers in it, and that black guy who was on the Green Mile, but I forget his name. He's like jacked. That he unfortunately passed away, some years back. But he is freaking. It's one of his best movies. Anyway, it is. It's damn funny. It is so good. It really is. It's just a good movie. So there's lots of quotable quotes in it, right? So it's just been nice to be able to have something you can just jump right into, right? We've been playing Marvel. Zerx, what's the name of it? Marvel Universe or Marvel Warriors, or not Marvel Warriors, but what is it? Rivals, Marvel Rivals, I think. And it's free to play, and that's fun. I'm having a good time with that, actually. It must be good. Super Troopers is brilliant. Yeah, and this one is too, man. I don't know how I never saw this. It is like, especially like I'm gonna rewatch it too, and because there's so many funny things in it. Just like, and it's the small things that you miss the first time you go back, and it's just brilliantly done. Marvel nerds. Chris, you're probably at your computer right now playing like Magic the Gathering or whatever. You're just trying to make yourself feel better. Ah, Lord Tagian, how are you, my boy? What are you up to, man? We got another one here. This is another portrait, and this picture I think is better. Now she has some freckles, and see how that works. Put that in, but I don't need to do as many morphs. I don't need to change it up as much, so this should be a little bit more straightforward. Just dropped in to say hello. That's fine, man. You do your thing. University life. Tagian is on demand. He is on demand. He is activating full Tagian mode. Right? What's the assignment? You boys like Mexico? And they're at like the Canadian border too. They're like, oh, using lamp black? No, I'm using a dark black. It's this one's ivory black, cadmium red deep, and then cobalt blue. Just to make it dry, because it's the weekend, and come in and you can paint over it. Do this in grisaille. I might, because of the properties of the board. It's not going to slow me up either way because I learned how to deal with it in the last painting. Caught me off guard the last time, but this time I'm bitch slapping it back in the face. So I could. The main thing, and the thing is too, I can always, if it clumps up or if something happens, I can always sand it down in that area, but I'm going to layer it up anyway, so it's not going to make a difference. I just want to make sure that the shadows are transparent, they sink back, and I do want to build have some sort of texture up in the skin. To be honest with you, I'm at the point where that's just something that I can do in added time if I have the time to do the work, right? Which I actually have a couple of commissions right now, so it's, and I know how my client wants them. This one I can kind of do however I want, which is kind of nice. But here's the thing, I don't know what I'm going to put in the background yet. I was talking to my friend, he might want some scene in the background, so I don't know, we'll see. So I kind of have to be tentative about this work. That's where that blue is coming from. The blue? Um, you're talking about all this back here. Yeah, there might have been some blue, but really what I did, I did not put a lot of red in. I put this dark grind in. I don't mind that's a little bit splotchy. I kind of like that, to be honest with you. Maybe that's not good. Maybe it should be more even, but I really don't care. I wanted it to be a little bit more cool so that I could add the warms on top of it and have just a different effect. Because normally I make it warm, and I just said I'm just going to go cool this time because I'm a cool guy. I'm high on beef jerky and Monster Energy drink right now. Got to stay focused. I have to do a seminar on Gothic architecture. That is a very university student thing to say. First you must dominate the board. Only then can you paint it. he's just modified a quote from Slam and Salmon. Bring it on. He's using olive oil mixed with charcoal dust. Is that how paint is made? I don't know. That's how babies are made. Well, it has a lot of walnut oil in it, which is what's giving it that effect, and also in tandem with the sealer I put on, which is Zinsser primer. So, yeah. You must dominate the swordfish. Only then can you saute it. He punches it in the face. All right, Tagging. I'll see you, boy. Don't do anything stupid. Actually, do something stupid. It makes good stories. Come back and tell us something good. Actually, next week, I'm not sure I'll be streaming. Hey, Merry Christmas, Tagging, if I don't see you. I don't know if y'all celebrate that up in Kosovo, in your pagan country. Ah. All right. I mean, I'm getting that point actually a little bit quicker this time than I did the last. Actually, or I'm just not seeing what needs to change. You do? Good. Excellent, man. Have a Merry Christmas, all right? Actually comes up just a little bit right there. And now we're gonna bring this up too. So we're looking at the whole thing. The idea with paint is understanding everything at once, not just modeling one little thing. You gotta, that stuff, whenever you do these small things, it's in the interest of the larger shape. Always understand the larger shape. Today, a car almost ran over you, but you don't have time to elaborate more. Tell us later, man. Yeah, he has stories. Like one time he had to jump out of his school building because he got locked in. He didn't have to, but he chose to because he didn't want his pride hurt. He stayed around late to paint, and then the janitor locked the school up, and instead of going through and he could have called out the window to the janitor to tell him to get in the building, unlock the building because he saw him, but he was too embarrassed. So instead he climbed out of a 2-story window and jumped out. It was pretty funny. I think one time we'll have to have him tell you these stories, but one time he stole his dad's car, and he said he's never seen his dad run that fast. And his dad was running in Terminator 2, that guy, the liquid robot, he was just running like this, and he caught up to the car, and Tagging was screaming, looking in the rearview mirror, and his dad was actually, I don't know, man. Dads, they have that superhuman strength after a while. It's pretty funny. So, I mean, he's full of those stories. So I'll give you the introduction to him next time he comes back. Then I'll set it up for him. It's pretty good. All right, so I might actually go into the color here because here's the thing with the color. It's not that you lock in the portrait, right? With it and say, oh, well, I put the color down. I can't do anything. You put the color. It's simply an extension of what I'm doing here, right? It's just here I don't need to worry about like mixing all these various colors. But see, I'm an expert and everything's so easy in life for me to do, so it doesn't matter. I could have started with them. I never mess up. To be honest with you, the key to painting is correcting the mistakes that you messed up on. Right, so it's always correcting, always learning, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So that's what we do. It's very rational. It's very practical. This, right? You don't want to spend so much time. Like I can spend time making this look nice and detailed and this and that, but when you paint over it, you're gonna notice things that are gonna have to shift, shapes that are gonna need to change, and that happens too when you rest your eyes. Go home and then come back, and then you see mistakes that need to be fixed. And so if you've taken the time to develop the drawing, right, you've kind of wasted your time with that because it's going to be changed anyway. Is that why you need 2 extra years at Florence Academy? Shut up. They asked me to be there. They wanted me there. The face is a little too wide, by the way. Kind of like Jess Mom's cankles. We've got to thin them out. We always have to thin them out. You gotta keep on thinning them out, man. There you go. It doesn't take much. This is gonna come in some. So we shift large parts, right? We don't just shift one. We shift this, shift that, and I'm constantly circling around, seeing all this stuff. And like I said, the shoulders help. Shoulders help. Something like that. Shoulders do help. So I'm trying to see 1, 2, and then these shapes here, the light shapes, everything all at once. You know, I'm not going in and trying to get all this stuff now that I'm starting to paint. Just a little bit of a soften this, trying to get an impression. It's a sense of light in the right place, right? So the proportions and everything. That's the main thing in paint. It's drawing. You just gotta draw it right. Gotta draw it right. That's why I am a bad painter. I don't make mistakes. Please stay, maestro. The academy needs your help. I know. I hear it all the time. All the time. So you squint and it simplifies the lights and darks into large shapes, and you try to get those capture. It's another art word we have to use. Capture the shapes. I have to say it like that too. Get it captured. Okay. So back here. Man, it's ballpark. It's not great. Slowly inching the eyebrows up. I don't know if it needs to go up more. So to see that, so I'm using comparative measurements. So the face that I'm going off of from the top of the hair to the chin. So from here to here. That's as big as I have it right now. So comparative measurements. Otherwise, you'd be using sight size, drawing the same size you see it, and comparative measurements. You want to use both at the same time. Tire existence is a mistake. Shakari, what's up? For $7K a year, you too can be in demand. Is it $7K now? It used to be back in the day. I think it's much more than that now. I'll worry about that later. It's across. Trying to soften this a little bit. impression. So let's see, this piece to there. If that's there, that's pretty much accurate. And in this, if anything, I could always bring this down some, I guess, because this is ballpark. So little movements, not, I didn't, so at first I felt like, you know, I needed to shrink the face in to get certain things, but I wanted to keep the face large for compositional reasons. So I don't mind thinning it out some because it's at the point where these minuscule changes will make a larger impact on the actual correctness of the proportions than it will drawing away from the composition. So in other words, these small things don't affect the composition as badly as they did at first. That's what we do. We chip away until we're fine-tuning. Now, granted, most of the time that I stream, I'm like, that looks good. Because I streamed straight for 2 or 3 hours or whatever. And I'm an idiot, so I don't rest my eyes and come back and see the mistakes, which I do the next day. And when I look at them, I'm like, what have I done? I'm embarrassed I streamed that and everybody saw it and nobody said anything. That normally is what happens, but we work through it. No clue, just the number. I remember you saying it's good memory. Now they up the tuition significantly because I was there, so it put it essentially as this historical entity. And it's much more prestigious now. And there's a plaque saying Louis Guidetti was here. And so the tuition has quadrupled since. It really has gone up in price. But the value was kind of what they're probably charging now. And unfortunately, they're starting to deny people. And let me tell you something. I probably would not be here painting like this if the standards were as such 20 years ago. I was fortunate in that not many people. So this angle's wrong. So either this needs to come out. Let's see. That needs to come out just a little bit, and then that comes in some. Measuring off of here to there. And then it is at a slight angle, but it does need to shoot in some. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, these little things don't matter so much. I mean, they matter, but it's for the whole compositional piece, it doesn't affect it as much, which is good because I have this ballpark where I want it. Something like that. For the statue of you at the entry now, yeah, and it's nude as I requested. So that's how I always used to show up at school anyway. I mean, it was Europe. You can do that. The ears wrong. It is wrong. To roll my R's, I used to walk down the streets of Florence and just go R, R, or, R, R. That's how I did it because it's a very foreign. You know, I might have brought that in too much. Let me bring that back out. Something like that. There we go. This is actually close, but that comes in just a little bit. And then there is a little bit of hair there. Let's keep it ballpark there. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. All right. I tell you what. From here, I'm going to rush it forward just a little bit. Normally, I would keep it at this stage right here, but I'm going to start adding some values, and I'll probably keep it grisaille, like black and white-ish, but I'm going to start putting some light in. It will have some color. Contrapposto with the mouth slightly openly. Yeah. All right. I was just checking to make sure I didn't get any text saying, we need help at home. All right. What time we got? 2:52. We're making good time. I have about an hour, and this should be plenty of time to do this. Let me just get the paints out. Use the same paints that I'm using for the Peter Mood, so I don't necessarily need to mix them. I'll show the palette once I get this on here, but in this manner, we don't need to waste paint. It's good. Very good. I did not think that I would get to this point today, but I am working mucho efficiente, as the Swedes say. There we go. Put that there. And then we got white, yellow ochre. We got a red. And we'll mix the, oh, let me put the ultramarine blue. I don't need that. Not for this. Got it. We got it, man. We got it. I normally mix the secondary colors, orange, purple, and green, just so I can be quick in tinting. In fact, I have purple and green that I mixed. I forgot to put it on my palette. I'll put that back. Just have a text. Might have just had a text. I need to make sure that my phone's on silent because I can't figure out how to put the stream on my phone on silent, so it makes missing text. You like Correggio? I love Correggio. That guy is freaking amazing. Yes, I do love Correggio. Because he's a mix to me between like Raphael and Leonardo, kind of. But his work is beautiful. It's very beautiful work. He's one of the big artists for me back in the Renaissance. I think he was Renaissance or slightly after, right? Oh, and then where's the purple? Doesn't matter. Next one. Don't need to mix one for this. Okay. Let's go in. What brush do I want? And let's see if we have two brushes with this. Let me have our darker dark. The darker dark. There we go. All right, I think we got it. There's somebody walking down the hall. Charlene, get the magenta. No, I forgot. You have to remind me. Also, I'm supposed to be taking skull photographs, which I forgot. Okay. So normally what I do, I mix between the values that I mix right here, the field color, right? And they're kind of chunky right now, to be honest with you, but I'm not too concerned about that at the moment. Just getting enough walnut oil to make it malleable. Yeah, just remind me. Paint wounds, faces away like that. Often you get those longer Greek type kind of faces, which I don't like that much. Yeah, I mean his work is beautiful. It really is. It really is. So. I'm just trying to get in the ballpark. This isn't so necessary, but so her skin color is probably going to be more olive complexion. She was Creole, I think. So now, if she was darker skin, like if she was black, and I make her white, it might piss them off. But I don't know. You know what? I should probably, you know what? No, I'm going to go ahead and paint this I'm just gonna go through. You know what? I'll figure this out afterwards. If it's the wrong, if it's literally the wrong skin color, then I'll ask my friend. He should know. That would be really funny though if I paint this thing and they're like, "It's a great painting, but she was black." It's hard to tell with this stuff though. It is. It's hard to tell. But I don't think she was. I don't think. I don't know. Do y'all think she was? I mean, look at this. Oh, why walnut oil? So I use walnut oil because it's it doesn't have as much linolenic acid, so it's a little bit clearer. It dries. It doesn't yellow as much. That's why I use it. Are there black blessed saints? Yeah, there are. There. It's just I think like in Rwanda and stuff, there were a lot of martyrs back in I think like the 80s and 90s and such. And there's some solid saints there. Yeah, definitely. So essentially, you know, we don't need this to look aesthetically pretty, but the shapes need to be correct, right? So this is a very basic way, and I'm putting everything kind of neutral grind, but now we can work more directly in the lights instead of me just having to, wipe it off with a paper towel or whatever, which is what I was doing before. Just you make it as simple as you can for you, so you're not juggling as many materials, so that you can focus on getting the drawing, the proportions and stuff. And that's hard to do, and it takes some time. You have to train your mind to see it, and sometimes if you're tired or whatever, you might miss the proportions. So you want to give yourself enough time to do these things, right? To fully understand what you're looking at. And so there's no reason why it needs to be rushed. So I'm starting to see some shapes as I put this in that need to change, and that's why we do this, right? We just try to. So I'm going to really put this on very soft here. You know, you can kind of blend edges and stuff. It'll be a little bit grayed out, but that's okay. We're going the um, just for the shapes. Western culture whitewashed a lot of those peeps. Um, no, they didn't. I don't think they did at all. I mean, which ones did we whitewash? I mean, it would to me it would be funny if you had like somebody who's like as black as you can possibly be, and then they made them white. Then okay, I can see that. I haven't seen that. All right. So now we are working with shapes as we need to work on them. Jesus. You had the Shroud of Turin there, and Jesus was Jewish. And yeah, I can see some depictions where he's like blonde hair, blue eyed, sure. But I mean, you have depictions where he's black as well. If you look into the apparitions of Mary, she appears as whatever race she's talking to. So, like, look up Our Lady of Guatemala, for example. Um, so it's nobody's changing anything, you know. But that stuff has always fascinated me. It's very interesting to me. There we go. This is over that way, which is incorrect. Go down here. This piece should be over, so I'm going to put this over. These are the things that we change. Boom! Look at it. Changing. There we go. And then this here, this was a little bit off. This needed to come up some. We're going to soften that up there. Let's work on this nose a little bit. Soften these pieces here. So when we squint, you want to get the shape, but the shapes are going to have an edge to them, whether it's going to be sharp or soft or whatever. It denotes planes, turning and stuff, and so you want to get those correct. There we go. Add some color to it. Color in the shadows. I'll make sure you have enough color. You do that, your work's going to come alive. But you want good reds so that you can keep the light value down, keep it dark. Gives it that color it needs. That's what you want. The color that it needs. And I'm putting this on very light. So say I don't like where it's placed or it's whatever, even if I put it on too thick and I want to get the transparency right, that nice transparent effect of the shadows where it just goes back, then I can either scrape it down, wipe it off or whatever, but everything's fixable. You always have an out. So you go in and you're laying the paint down, you're drawing in a manner, but you're always thinking a couple steps ahead, like, okay, if I need to change this, what am I going to do? Right? And sometimes it's like, it doesn't need to be something where you spend all day on. You can just, shift something really quick or do this, do that. And that's how you keep it flexible and you get the drawing quicker. It's always working on the drawing. That's the whole thing. It's what you want. You always want to be working on the drawing with this stuff. I might have brought that up too high, but we'll see. I'm going to take this brush, I'm going to make it kind of a mid-tone. I could just blend with the shadows, but I'm just going to put a little bit of color in just to lay it down. It's still going to be grayed out, but it's not really going to matter that much. I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring this over just a little bit, and then I can bring the color back into it if I want, like the light back into it. Here, color, and then I'm going to actually go into this right here. This would be kind of a mid-tone shadow going along the cheek, which right now it seems like too close to this, but this is going to get so much lighter that's going to make this appear darker, but this now is going to have some color in it, which is what I want. Like I said, I'm not really mixing all day for the color. And this is a little bit more greenish and like browned out. It was kind of weird yesterday. I schooled a chemist in color theory because they were being condescending towards me for asking a question. Oh, I want to hear more about that. How long do you usually have a model come in for the same pose? This, probably between 10 and 15 sittings, 2 to 3 hours each. So you're looking at about 45 hours, probably 30 to 45 hours of sitting. You're talking about with breaks and such, so it's not the whole time you're sitting or doing whatever. But also, look, when people come in, I talk to them and, we have a good time. So it's not like, you can't move, you idiot, If you hear that in my model sessions, it's because, I'm messing around, but. All right, so this thing right here, this distance is way too big. Way too big. So that's That's going to need to change. I kind of made her look a little bit like Thanos, the chin kind of coming out some. So we will fix it. We will fix it. A lot of things that need to be fixed. See, and that's the thing, like, the idea here is, okay, so here's the thing. This is a big change, and I don't want it to affect the composition. I don't want to start getting like really small with everything, right? Like, things need to become smaller, but I don't want it to like, these are big changes that might affect the composition, so I have to be careful. They were showing a chemical reaction that caused the solution to change color as you spin it. I was asking if we were observing energy changing and so wavelength changing, and they got shitty with me. Huh, that's strange. Do you have them come in back to back, or does your class switch it up in between? So if you're talking about portrait, I'll have them come whenever they can, and ideally they're coming 3 times a week or 2 times a week, something where you can get momentum. Now with the drawing class, it's like 2 hours, and it's 25 minutes. They're staying and posing. You take a 5-minute break in between. So for 2 hours, that's what the class is on Tuesday evenings, right? I see what I did actually. There we go. It's Thursday, 6 to 8. Yep. Trying to find people. I'm trying to find models and other students. It doesn't need to be somebody like I'm teaching. I want people to come in and draw, so we have actually people coming in and drawing, right? So yeah. And last night I had to cancel. Our model canceled, and then all the other models were not available. So I was out of luck. Dude, bro, said you should look up color theory and how our eyes perceive color if you're really interested in this. As an artist, you may be familiar with the color wheel. Are you sure? It seems like he was just giving you information. I don't take that. Is that how he put it? I mean, if he's being a smartass about it or whatever, then I would just ignore it, or start trolling him, which is always fun. That's always the best thing to do. You say Tuesday? No, did I say Tuesday? I could have said Tuesday. It's Thursday. Thursdays. How much does it pay? $50 an hour. Or no. $50 for 2 hours for an entire class. So you may be familiar with the color wheel. As a painter, you may be familiar with paint. Whatever. It's like Zerks and I, we have a friend that hates it when people say mind you. It pisses him off, right? This is my point. This is like, I think, look, you're probably right, but it's hard to tell online, right? That's why when you talk to people, you kind of get a truer sense of where they're coming from, right? This apparently I've forgotten how to do noses. maybe let me try to bring this down some. I think that will actually help. And then I might need to bring the actual mouth down just a little bit. That is kind of funny though, actually. Maybe. I like that. I like that. That stuff makes me happy. You're an attack dog. You are an attack dog. I'll check my schedule. Zerks, I told you I had one of my friends actually in Georgia. He modeled for me, and he did not move at all. He didn't move like he did not move. Most models move. He was just like this the whole time. There was no movement. He was counting down in his head 25 minutes every single time perfectly. And he never did it again, which I do not blame him. I was like, it must have been so miserable. So miserable, right? There we go. It must have been so miserable that. What are you going to do? Okay, I'm going to make the features a little bit larger to fill the head out some. It's going to come in, this drop. I might be messing this up because my eye is probably getting a little bit old, but it's okay. That, and then let's back down just a little bit. This looks like that guy from what, Boy Meets World or whatever it is. I forget his name, but do you know who I'm talking about? Am I wrong? Check. Oh, I'm so much more feisty than you are. I know. Your kitten. It's scary. You can be terrifying. You're an attack dog. I have to reel you back. I have to reel you back. That's bad. They got a break every 25 minutes. What is this? A union gig? Doesn't cat move a lot up and down and all that, but that changes the pose all the time. You're talking about Kat, like the chick who's bald? She's not modeling anymore. This is totally. I have to fix this. This is what we go through with paint. You have to stand up for yourself. You are correct. You are right. It's just like that, guy. What was that? 1 second. Let me check something here really quick. Ben Savage. This looks like Ben Savage when he was a kid, I think, right? When he was a kid. And it might not be him. Yeah, it is him. Give me a second. Anyway, it looks like Ben Savage. That's who I'm drawing apparently now. He's moved on from the Guidetti basement. Here's a stand up for what? What are you talking about, the Guidetti basement? That's definitely too wide. Oh, okay. Nobody panic. Nobody freaking panic. Can't have anybody freaking out here. Is that correct? I don't want to lock that ear in yet, do I? Whoops. It's all starting to fall apart. No. No. Damn it. This is not what I want. It's funny. Funny how bad these things look sometimes. Modeling in your basement. It's not my basement. This isn't my basement. This is a professional studio. You wouldn't know it by how I act, but it is somehow. This painting is mocking me with a smile. We'll get it. We don't want to panic. That's the one thing we don't want. I can't freak out with this. That seems like it. This is seeming better now, actually. Let's make this. Let's give her a little bit more volume to her hair. The women like volume. Need volume. She slept on it wrong, diagonally, upside down. Okay. Now, oh, you don't want to see what you should never do? Is this. You should never do this. Because now it's going to look like a freaking psycho. This is shutting me when somebody comments. When somebody comments and says, "Do you know what color Will is?" And you're like, "Bitch." And shutting Mia's eyes become like this. And then she attacks. It's like in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which I definitely do not watch when I was a kid. I can see in the dark, and this is how they look. You only see the eyes. When I was a kid, I thought that that's what happened when you were in the dark because of it. I watched that Katie critique video, which you titled "Katie, the best hope for this class," and then you redid her whole upper body. But she absorbs what, like, yeah, I know. Which shows you how bad the rest of the class is. unfortunately, she left, so there is no hope to the class yet, but we haven't gotten there yet. I'm bringing you all along with me in this journey, right? That's what we do, man. Let's take that out. Yeah. She is no longer with us. She left. I am very vexed. Ain't looking good for Brian or Terry. Poor Brian. I forgot to tell him that the class was canceled yesterday. He called me at 6 o'clock saying, "Hey, where are you?" I was like, "It's canceled." I felt so bad. Uh, I always tell people this. I don't know how I forgot that one, but I told everybody else. I didn't tell him. It's kind of funny, actually. Okay, I think I see what's going on with this. I think that's going to come up. Okay. See, this is what you do here. We need to see everything as just like a light shape coming up. So this eye is actually going to come over just a little bit like that. That's coming up. I'm just going to ultra squint at this point there. And then let's unify this. Unify that. And if anything, if I'm looking here and here, this needs to go over that way, which makes sense because I really do think that this needs to come in some. Do people actually leave because of the critique? No, they don't. No, Brian actually sounds like that. Brian's hilarious. So I'm able to critique them because they know that I'm trying to help them like that. Sometimes I have people in the comments and they get mad at me for how I critique. But like all of us are joking around the whole time. That's what, I guess turning the critique on, it's kind of taking everything else out of context because everybody's cutting everybody down in that class. We have a good time. We have a very good time. And, I'm trying to, and they're all getting way better too. And they know it. And I've told them this several times. I just won't ever record it and put it out there. I'm not going to do that. It's just more fun to destroy them. And they know this. They have a good time with it. I do it with their consent. Okay. I do it with their consent. You saw that comment? Yeah. Yeah. And I wish I had more comments like that because I love having fun with that type of stuff. They were pretty out of touch. They aren't even in the community to judge. I mean, again, Shuttering Me, I honestly, I like it when that stuff happens. I find it fun to mess with people like that. I'm not mature enough to handle it differently right now. Because what he was trying to get a rise out of me. And when you don't give them that and instead you turn them into a butt of a joke and you're having fun, they realize that, then it confuses them because most people don't do that with them. And it is the most fun thing to do if you can pull it off. And you never know who you're talking to. It's not like you're being a jerk to them. Okay, so I think that might come over some, maybe. I need to make it so it does not look like Ben Savage. That is now my goal. The bar has dropped. That's what this is turned into. I needed this to stop looking like Ben Savage. See? Set these little goals for yourself and you achieve them. Do your students take their drawings home to work on them, or do they leave them there? They take them home, but I don't think they work on them at home. I mean, what are they going to do? They don't have a photo reference or anything to go off of. But I mean, no, seriously though, if you take Brian's work from even just a year ago, you're going to see a huge difference. I mean, a major improvement with it. Right? And so here's the other thing. I'm extremely encouraging to them. Like, I'm always encouraging them. They know that I want to help, and I do. Because the truth is that I don't really charge as much as I should be charging for a class where I'm providing a model, they're painting in my studio, and I am taking my time to critique and teach them on a weekly basis. They pay $20 at the door, and which is less than most classes around here pay just to have a model up, minus no teaching. I'm trying to see it from your perspective, but when interacting with someone, I feel their attempt at harm strongly. I have a theory about that with you. And that's not me like condemning you or judging you at all. I think you've had it rough, and that's kind of your go-to with that stuff. I couple myself with, I like giving people the benefit of the doubt, number one. Number two, if that stuff starts to happen, I always want it to happen so I control them, so it doesn't bother me, so I don't get defensive like that. Does that make sense? It's my personality, and it's just weird. I want to troll people. You get a comment in a video that is trying to get a rise out of you, and then you just go after that person. I don't try to defend myself. I might start agreeing with them. They don't know what I'm going to do, and I find that is, for me, it's very fulfilling. If you're talking about people who are trying, and look, I also, like, you got to read things. Also, I guess shitting me, like I've said this multiple times, sometimes say you're in a bad mood, you can read a sentence. I've read a sentence when I'm in a bad mood the wrong way. I project myself into it. And then I've looked back at it later and I'm like, why did I even take it that way? So I make a strong effort to keep that in mind. Would you say you've had an easy life? Me? Compared to you, yes. Yeah, and I think I do have an easy life. If you compare it to humanity, I think I'm very fortunate. Like, there are people who, look, I've been down to Nicaragua and seen how they live. But I also, here's the thing, I see a lot of people bitching and complaining about how hard their lives are, and they live in America. And they have no idea how the rest of the world lives. So I think I have had an extremely fortunate and easy life. Personally, that is me. I think I can make it harder if I want to. But that's how I see it. There are people in Nicaragua that they're kids and they get their food from going in the dump. They live on the dump. That's what they do. That's the extreme case, but there are people like that. You have people in North Korea who are living under strict communism right now. Yeah, I've had an easy life compared to that stuff. Do you actually wear shoes now because there's some no feet policy on YouTube? Do you think that that would I would let that dictate? It's cold. It's cold out, so that's what I do. No, I'm very fortunate. Very fortunate. My dad worked very hard. He's a doctor, and they encouraged me to do this type of work. He I was fortunate enough to find the Florence Academy of Art before it was expensive. It actually saved them money going to school to the point where I didn't have to pay anything. I didn't have student loans or anything to pay off. I am extremely, extremely fortunate. And I hope one day, if I have kids, I'm able to do the same thing that for them as my dad did. That's how I look at it. Right? Does it restrict you not feeling the carpet? It's pissing me off, yeah. I like the shoes. Honestly, QFX, the reason why I wasn't wearing shoes a lot was because I was just too lazy to put them on. I'm not kidding. I would look, I'd see my sandals, I'd be like, all I have to do is this with the sandals. With shoes, I have to go upstairs and get socks. Screw that. I'm not going to do that. That was it. And I was cold for a while. I mean, but when it gets winter, I suppose I could put socks on, but if I'm going to put socks on, then why not just slip the shoes on? So maybe your perspective comes from having an easier life, so it's wrong to develop and adapt to negative environment. I would consider my reaction adaptation, perhaps maladaptive, but maybe not. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Like I said, I had a theory. See, I don't know. I'm not going to say this is why. I can't psychoanalyze you because I'm not one-on-one with you. I don't know. But I mean, you have to come in with shoes, right? No, screw the shoes. Shakuri. I have to wear at least 2 pairs of socks at all times. Yeah, I know. I should be doing that because I'll say most of the time I don't think about it. But then if I think about am I warm or cold, I'm like, I don't feel good. I am cold. Like that's what I will do. If you ask me, I'm like, no, I do not feel good right now. That's on me. Shutting Mia, I think a lot of it too, though, is you can train yourself to think a certain way. And I used to be more defensive because I thought more people were after me, and I saw that and I changed that. And some people see it and they work on that, change it. Some people don't. So I'm sure it has to do with environment, but it also has to do with your mentality going forward. Like, for example, you are actually a fast learner. You look into things when you're calm and clear-headed, and which is, I think, most of the time, and you pick it up and then you adapt. That's what you do. That's a good thing. You can do the same thing. Now, everybody has different things they struggle with, right? So I don't know what you struggle with, but I have a feeling that, like, yeah, you've been burnt a couple times, and it's kind of a defense mechanism. And you read into some things, like I'll read it differently than you. But also, the other thing is I'm reading something different than you, but I'm not in the situation. Maybe if it was directed at me, I might have felt what you feel. There's a lot of variables. Iron deficiency will cause cold feet. I use breakfast essentials to help. Yes. Like an infomercial. I use breakfast essentials. Breakfast essentials. Shurimiya approved. Okay. This is actually coming along quite nicely. It really is. I am pleased with how this is coming. Now, here's the thing. This, even if this dries, I can still come in and like, you're always going to be fixing the proportions. So this is still going to be workable, totally 100%, because I made it as such, right? And so just to give you an idea, I did this with the last paint. So this is, I key my values on my palette. So, but oftentimes you'll see people go through and do something like this. That's lightest light right there. So you see this is a mid-tone right there, so you can go up or down with it or whatever. So that's what we're working with right here, right? That light, which I just took off. Probably too quick, but I just don't want it there right now. But paint's very malleable. It's very changeable. Just because you paint it doesn't mean, you're locked into it. Tastes good. You like the taste. I don't like most vitamin drinks. I've been trying to be more natural with what I take in now because I think there's a lot of bad things that we eat, and I've kind of become a little bit more aware of that recently. And there's a lot of things that cause cancer and stuff that it's not going to kill you if you take it once or twice, but I mean your daily diet and stuff, you gotta I don't know, I think things have gotten a little extreme now at this point. Across the form. So I'm going to start laying down some paint. This. There we go. So we make certain parts lighter, which in turn creates a contrast with these areas that make it a little bit darker, appear darker, right? So that's what we do. Yeah, it's funny because my reacting like that allows me to get along with certain people like my Uncle Cough, that New York guy you heard on my stream. If I wasn't tough, we wouldn't get along. Oh, is that your uncle? That's your uncle? That guy's freaking hilarious. I think the challenge is making her not look like a guy, and it's all in the cheeks, in your opinion. It's not just the cheeks. It's everything, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah. We'll get it. See, look, these portraits are my area of expertise, more so than other stuff, right? This, we will get. There we go. All right. Let me get, I don't really need to do this, but I'm going to get a brush here. It's not going to make a difference. Get a lighter mid-tone brush. Just make this a little bit easier. There we go. All right. Oh, you aren't related, but you call him Uncle Cough. Play Call of Duty, you would be playing with him. I consider him family. Nice. Yeah. Probably end up playing at some point. When I ran into one of my friends on the street actually the other day when I quit streaming, and she wants me to play Gauntlet Slayer Edition. So I downloaded that game because it's like it was on sale like for $2. It's not like a really in-depth game, so it's more of a. I have a lot of games that I don't know if I have the time to do everything. But Call of Duty, I do want to do that. So, and I think it's like $15 or $20 off right now, so it'd be worth getting it, in my opinion, at this point. Bring this. Let's bring some light into that area just a little bit. Whoops. I didn't know I had friends either. It's a Christmas event going on now. Yep. 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 It is. It's all good. We'll see. We'll see. Three. All right, so we're getting some good work done. I mean, this is not bad for, this is not a bad start. And we've been going for how long? We haven't been going for that long. Hour and a half or something, I guess. I don't know. It's not bad for an hour and a half of work. Let's go ahead and paint the shadow in here. See, this is all kind of mid-tone value range. And so like say it's Boy Meets World, man. I cannot get away from this. That's wrong. This is and then it does. It needs to come in some. It has to come in, right? Maybe just a little bit. Let's see how it looks if I bring this in just a little bit here. There. And then it's a Christmas event. Come shoot Santa Claus in his underwear. Can you play Santa Claus in his underwear? Some people just got it all. Friends, artistic skills. A contraposed statue of themselves in front of the FAA. 1,502. The list goes on. What can I say? What can I say? I never need to put any effort out at all. And you will be able to tell how much effort I put out. 1,500. That's all I have to show for that. That's so bad. That's okay. What are you gonna do? At this point, it's funny. Some people have it all. There is the Santa Claus underwear skin. Coffee might get it. He was talking about this morning. How much is it? Let me do this. I can still take away the paint, the paper towel. See, normally I would paint in the background here, but I don't know what the background's going to be. That's the problem. This comes in some. There, and then let me this. $20. Yeah. Ooh, 20 bones. Boom! Boom! Slowly emerges. Slowly it emerges. The dark. Yes. It's a door charge for your nudie class. Just think. Yeah. The Santa underwear skin, because that is something I would definitely use. What happened that day you lost 100 rating, tried arcane, and got trained on the no? Pally freed him their ass. It was just a hard night. I don't know what else to say. We had a hard time. It happens. You know? It was a disaster. What do you want me to tell you? It was a freaking disaster. Obviously we're playing good players, but also I wasn't playing well. Xerx was having a hard time, and I made a lot of mistakes that I normally don't. I noticed too. I was extremely just out of it, tired. Um, Ear needs to come up, so that's too low. Or does it? Yeah, it does just a little bit. Um, is that one dude still walking around with the boys book? No, he hasn't recently because I've been calling him out so much for it. What did he do yesterday? He was saying, or no, this week. The conversations I have with him, because I told him he was talking. I forgot what the subject was, but he's like, "Nah, you can't say that to a woman or whatever." It's like there's certain things you can't say to a woman. I looked down and I said, I am shocked that you know that, because listening to you talk, you would never know that you think that there's certain things that you cannot say, because he always rubs everybody the wrong way. I told him, I said, I'm trying to sell you. I'm always trying to sell you. And I have to go and explain you to other people. I do. I study Brian. That's what I do. I told him, and he knows it, and he's grateful for it too. Um, it's just 20 after 20. I don't know what that means. Yes, Michael. Yes, this is Charlene Richard. She is potentially going to be a new saint. And this is going to be an excellent painting. Hopefully I did not make this face too big. But yeah, it's a new painting. I'm working on this one and also another one at the same time. So yeah, very fortunate right now. We got a lot of work. It's going to be good, and it's work that I actually want. Now I did get a house commission painting, actually a house commission and then a building commission, and the building is the most boring thing that I've ever seen in my life. And I have to do those, but that's not until down the road. I'm grateful for the work, but I'm also extremely depressed because of the subject matter. But what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? Oh, the rating. We lost. What's up, Pete? Gonna paint more puppies and rainbows? Screw puppies and rainbows. Now, every time we lost like 12 points or something, but we're playing people we have no business playing against, but that's why it dropped us down in rating, so that's where the rating's at. It's just a number, but unfortunately the rewards are tied to that number, and that's unfortunate because I do want the transmog set. There we go. I got a little bit of color in while trying to fix the drawing and the shadows and such right now. That's what we're doing. You try the matcha with your dad yet? No, we need to order that. Clowns and lollipops. As long as you aren't painting velvet paintings of Elvis, I'm not going to. I would, if that happened, you know what? If somebody asked me to do something, I just mark the price way up, and if they want to pay it, then I'll do it. But it will be something that is very worth it for me. Like, I don't need to worry about money for a while. Price. That's what I do. Fortunately, that doesn't happen that much. Most of the time, I don't mind painting what I do. Yeah. Elvis had some bangers. I like Elvis. I do. And if somebody said paint a portrait of him, I would. Velvet? Paint velvet. Definitely paint velvet. I could paint anything. Easily. Easily. As you can tell here. That little strand of hair is going to be fun. Grisaille. Grisaille. Something religious. I do the same. If it is something I really don't want to do, I make it expensive. Yeah. So one time they took it up. They took it up. I said okay, and it was actually a fair price for the work, but I didn't think I looked. I said I really don't want to do this, so I put the price, and it was actually a very fair price because most of the time I underprice the work I do, and they took it. And I said all right, so I did it. You miss hanging out on stream. You've been really busy doing dumb things. I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. And no worries. Do your thing, you know? Yeah. Do your thing. I'm always surprised when people are on the stream because it's a time commitment. I think Unchained Melody was one of his last, but definitely one of his best. Um, oh yeah, Elvis. I don't know his songs. I mean, I know how they sound, but as in terms of the names, Shikari. Are velvet paintings an American thing? Because I only ever hear about them on TV shows as jokes, but never actually seen one. I guess it's not like a big joke. I guess it's are they painted on velvet? No. I, I so I wasn't as familiar either until um Michael mentioned it, but yeah, like because Elvis. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, but like Elvis, he really. I used to do the Steichen photographs as a way to learn about composition. Yes, the black velvet painting of Elvis and crying clowns were a thing. Okay, so there you go. I wasn't like as familiar with it, but it made sense to me when I heard it because Elvis too, like in the latter years of his life, went through. Let's just put it in an interesting phase, right? It's like doing karate and all sorts of stuff. But I like he's a great singer, especially for the time, you know. And he really had some beautiful songs, especially his earlier works. I mean, I'm not like an Elvis fan, but I do respect a lot of his work. Right. One would think you being uh, one would think you being into manliness that you'd be into Elvis. Why is that? It doesn't make sense, QFX. It's awesome. A velvet painting is a type of painting distinguished by the use of velvet, usually black velvet, as the support in place of can. Oh, really? I thought it was actually you're painting. See, I didn't even know that. I thought it was you're actually painting him draped in velvet or something, but it's actually on a painted piece of velvet. I had no idea. Elvis had a stinky butt. I think that was on. I can't tell if you're being serious. Okay, let's go into the eyes, and then I actually have to start wrapping this up because I need to go help my dad out in a second. There's certain things at this. I'll just notice I'm keeping this light. I'm not putting like really dark. This is actually very thinly painted. See, when you see me doing this right here, I'm trying to fix like the proportions a little bit, but I'm also trying to evenly put the paint down. I'm kind of massaging it into place. That's what we do. This comes over just a smidgen, I think, something like that. Oh, she looks so happy. Makes me sad that she died at the age of 12. You know, just painting this. She looks so happy right here, and she must be 10 or 11, and maybe even 12. I need to read more about her. So my friend knows all about her, and has developed a bit of a devotion to her, and I really do need to look into it. Well, because you guys ask me these questions, I'm like, I don't know. I should know. I should know these things. This comes over some. There we go, just a little bit. All right, I don't know. Maybe it's looking less like Savage now, but I mean, I think Elvis was pretty manly, except his outfits, maybe. Hey, Michael, thank you. I appreciate that, man. My dog amazingly has a stinky breath. Stinky breath in the butt. It's probably because he's transferring it from his butt to his mouth. They always lick them. I'll keep the stream going. I'm going to start cleaning up. This time is, of course, the essence to me. I am a very high-class citizen, upstanding member of society, with many things on my plate because I'm a man, and men have more things on their plate than women. Shrimia. All right. I might look in that Call of Duty game. Well, I am looking into it. It's a matter of if I would play it, but it's a good deal. You get 15 off. Let me get my phone. 15, 20 off. It's not bad. Arrows. What's up, man? Woman? It's been a while. How have you been? Thank you so much. Oh, Michael retracted his work. I will. Shuddermia. All right. So we got a good start. This is actually more than I thought I'd get done today. I think what the stream's been going on for about 2 hours or so, so that's not bad for about 2 hours of work, right? 2 hours? I can't tell. It probably says somewhere, but... And guys, if I don't see y'all, have a Merry Christmas, all right? I'm going to take next week off. I'm going to try to do absolutely nothing. It's going to be great. I would recommend the same for everybody else as well. Reminds me of Sargent's painting of Beatrice Townsend. She was very young and she died a few months after he painted her portrait. Really? Thought you already didn't have enough time to save your rating. I think there's enough time. The last 2 weeks I might be able to get it last 2 weeks, but we need to go up 200 points. It's going to be hard. Busy with life, just stop by, show some YouTube love. And Eros has a channel too that y'all should check out. And it has been a while. I'm glad you stopped by, Eros. It's really good hearing from you. It really is. And Merry Christmas. Yeah. Good. Very good. It's good being back on YouTube, honestly. This is where I should be. Screw Twitch. I have plans. And I'm not just saying this. Don't worry. Nobody's going to get hurt. Because I know how I just made that sound. Nobody puts Bebe in the corner and gets away with it. Nobody. Throw these out. These are actually junk in them at this point. Nobody puts Bebe in the corner. Are you on Instagram? Yes, I am. I haven't posted in a long time, but I am on Instagram. I need to start posting. Michael, I've been my days are kind of like half days, and I'm behind in everything that I do. It's just how it is at this point in my life. I watch after my dad, and it's taking up a lot of time. Don't regret it. It's good, but I'm not good. Number one is staying like up to date with social media. I try to, and I know posting shouldn't be a big deal, but I'm also a perfectionist, and I hate literally everything that I do. So I hardly ever post, but I should. But I used to be posting I used to do like trailers to the videos that I've been doing. I'm going to be doing that stuff. I'm not done with that. I'm just saying right now I'm a little bit behind with that. A little bit overwhelmed, let's just put it that way. It's one of those times in my life where if I can manage, I'll sleep 9 hours and wake up and I'll still be tired. So it's just how it is. Send you a follow. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Awesome. Michael, we have, if you really want to keep up though too, Discord. I have and it's down, I think it's in the description here, but we have a Discord where it's a really solid community, and I'm always on that, reading that stuff and responding there. So it's kind of like, I guess, the new Facebook, what have you. But, I also check Instagram. I check it every single day. I just haven't posted in actually quite a while. It's been a long time. Like I said, guys, and here's the thing. I don't like most of the stuff that I do. However, this portrait and probably the Peter Moon portrait, I think I'm going to be able to do in a style and a manner that I want, and I probably will end up posting those. And there's a couple pictures that I should post right now. There's some work that I like. I just need to freaking post them. I guess that's it. Yeah, check the Discord out, man. Yeah. And because I'm not the one, like, it's not just me. It doesn't revolve around me. It's like, it's my Discord, and I'll go in and shoot critiques out. But to be honest with you, it's very educational, because the people that are in there, like Tagging was there earlier, Sherry, who's in chat here, she's always posting stuff. There's a lot of people always posting things or showing their work, or it's solid discussion. There's a lot of resources there. They post, reference photos and stuff. So it's actually a very good art resource as well. And it's growing, and it's very well organized thanks to Sherry Mia. She was able to organize it for us. Always on that. Replies once every 3 days to everything. I look at it every single day, though. It's not once. It might be once every 3 days. I don't know what it is. I replied today. I'm pretty sure I replied the day before yesterday. And if people message me directly, I always respond. I don't know why I don't just pour it out of this. This is like smaller than this is. It would make too much sense. Because you gotta look like an artist using these Chivon bottles. Here we go. I just use vegetable oil to clean the palette with. I don't think this is bad. I've been doing it for years. I guess we'll know if my paintings ever like deteriorate and catch fire or something. Explode. We'll know it's bad then. It's happened because vegetable oil congealed and created a spontaneous combustion reaction to the oxygen in the air. Or some bullshit like that. Especially when those messages include "wanna do twos" by people who not once has that happened. You can't prove that. The huge bicep crew. The HBC. Huge bicep crew. The bigger the biceps, the bigger the rating. Two things we care about in life is our seps and our arena rating. Twos specifically. QFX, you are fast becoming one of the reasons why I want to become like a gladiator in this stupid game. Damn you. Just to show you. Quildar, are you kidding me? What's up, man? I thought you'd be asleep by now. What are you doing? Are you off for Christmas yet? Sounds to me like Gears doesn't even do arena anymore at the moment. Well, he's been doing a lot of mythic rating. or not raiding, but dungeons, I think. He's been doing, but he can jump back in and dominate if he wants. Hey, how are you, man? How's your mom? She doing good? Off for 2 weeks? Oh, starting now? You're off now for 2 weeks? Or did you get this week off? I forget. I feel like I need some limoncello. My stomach hurts. Maybe pushes to the end of the season when there's more rain. That's what most people do. It's such a bad design. It's so stupid that that's how it works. What are you going to do? That. She's good. Nice. Okay, good. Next 2 weeks off. Perfect. Good. It is. This is a new commission. I have actually another portrait that I'm also working on. And then I have one after all of this too. But I'm going to be doing these two at the same time. So this was, this looks okay. This is looking okay. It needs some work, but I'll see some things when I come back in. But yeah, this is a good start for painting. But yeah, man, I got it. I wish you came in a little bit earlier because I have to run right now. I actually have to go, but yeah, so this is my last stream probably for another week or so whenever I decide to come back after Christmas. So I'm going to take some time off as well. But we got this. This is good. This is actually really good. Well, guys, Queldar, it's good seeing you. And Queldar, I'm back on YouTube now. I was at Twitch, got kicked off for doing a nude pencil drawing, which they changed their terms of service because I used to be able to do that stuff and they just banned me, which is fine because I get to get my revenge, which I always live life putting vengeance first. I think that's a way to being happy in life, to be honest with you. Yeah, you too, man. Well, guys, look, thank you so much, and y'all have a Merry Christmas, and I will see y'all when we get back, all right? I'll be in disc checking everything every single day. Stop streaming.